YouTube, what is going on? DA Comics here, coming back at you guys with another comic book pickups video. And that's right, it hasn't even been a full week since my last pickups video, and we're back. Reason being, this is kind of a special edition of my comic pickups because this is my haul from the recent Comic-Con that I went to yesterday. This is Tidewater Comic-Con over in Virginia Beach. A little bit of a drive from me, but I was able to make the trip out. Mostly for getting some autographs, which is what the majority of this video is going to be showing you guys. I did pick up a couple of books because, I had to get at least a couple just to be a little excited about the con, But mostly I was going because there were a few creators there that I wanted to get autographs from. I did end up getting those, so I'm going to be showing you guys those books. So I already had the books, I just got them signed. So some cool stuff there. But going into it, first I'm going to show you guys the couple of books that I did pick up. I wanted to get some really cool DC Silver Age books, so that's what I was mostly browsing because those are kind of cheaper. And I was kind of on a budget. I wanted to get just a couple cheaper books rather than, like, if I wanted to get a Spider-Man book, you're dropping a lot of money. So first book I picked up here, we got World's Finest, number 156. Awesome cover. I only have one other World's Finest book, so I wanted to pick up another one, and I was just kind of browsing, and I saw this one, and it has Bizarro Superman and Bizarro Batman, and then obviously the Joker on the cover there. It's just such a goofy and silly cover. I thought it was really fun, and I really like those kind of silly, I like when they have the goofiness in these old DC books. I don't have a whole lot of Silver Age Joker, so this is actually kind of rare for my collection right now. But I'd like to get more World's Finest books. I do like the kind of crossover between Batman and Superman, so it is definitely a series that I want to pick up some more books of. So very happy with that. Then we got Green Lantern number 34. I picked this one up because you guys know I'm a sucker for some big animals and things like that on these old DC books, and I don't know if it's the same artist or what. I gotta do some research into cover artists of the Silver Age DC books, but I just really love the way they draw these creatures. I mean, this is a giant iguana, and it just looks so cool. It has this very fantasy vibe to it, and obviously lately I've been picking up some more Green Lantern, trying to get into it a little bit more, and I saw this cover and it displays really well. You can see it's marked here CT. I didn't actually ask, and I'm going to sound a bit like an amateur here when I say this. I promise I've been collecting for 15 years. I don't know what CT, I assume it means color touch, which if that is the case, that means there is some minor restoration to this book. If that means something else, go ahead and let me know in the comments. I have no idea. I didn't think to ask when I bought it until after I left, but regardless, I didn't pay a lot for this book, so I don't really care either way. If it does have a little color touch, whatever. It's not a big deal to me. It looks great, and I'm happy to have it. And then this last book is my favorite of the three that I picked up, mainly because of this cover. It is the Flash 176, and this freaking cover, man, oh my gosh, that is awesome. Death stalks the Flash, and you can see this, Grim Reaper figure standing in the background with this green smoke passing through and the Flash in the forefront. I just think this cover is so freaking cool. The colors are really popping. Not too bad of a condition book. Edges are pretty clean. Not a whole lot of creases. Not a whole lot of chips. Colors are very vibrant. Really, really good copy. I'm very happy with. And man, that cover is just so sick. I just love that cover. So really excited to pick that book up. Got it for $10, which is I'm very happy with. So awesome pickup there. Now let's dive into the autographs that I got. Like I said at the beginning, or maybe I forgot to mention, this is going to be a little bit shorter of a video, especially than my last video, because last video I was kind of catching up on my pickups. In this, we're just going to go through the books I got signed, but I have a decent stack here of books that I did get signed. So let's go ahead and go through these. So first creator that I was going there to meet is an artist who has worked on various books that I have, and that is Mike Hawthorne. He actually did the art for Superior Spider-Man Volume 2. I did not get any of those books signed. I brought them to the show in case I wanted to get them signed, but I needed to see if people were charging for signatures, and if that was the case, obviously I'd have to limit the amount of books I was getting signed. And in this case, Mike was charging not a whole lot. I think it was like the first 3 books were free, and then it was $3 per book after. And I brought a bunch of books I wanted to get signed, so I decided not to get the superior ones signed, and I went ahead and got these ones. So we have Amazing Spider-Man $7.95. You can see he's credited right there, Hawthorne. This was just I was looking through my CLZ app to see what books I had that these creators had worked on. I had no idea that he did the art for Spider-Man at any point, Amazing Spider-Man at any point, but I saw this one came up, so I went ahead and got him to sign that. And he also did the next issue, 796, which this one was a pretty big one when it came out. Threat level red. That was when they were building up to 800 and Red Goblin and all of that, so pretty cool one to get signed. Pretty cool cover as well, and he got that signature down on the bottom there. And then the main reason I wanted to get his signature is because he did the art for the most recent arc of Batman, which is a series that I'm loving right now. You guys know I talked about it in my last Pickups video. The first arc, Failsafe, was amazing, and then the second arc was just as good, and he did the art for that arc. So I got every single one of those issues signed by him, starting with 131. Signed on the bottom there. It is a little disappointing. He didn't actually do these covers. They were done by, I believe it's pronounced Jorge Jimenez. Or maybe it might be George. I don't know. Some people pronounce it one way, some people the other. But he did not do these covers, but he did do the interior pencils. He signed 132. A little fun story. While he was signing this book, he started talking about how, again, he didn't draw this cover, but he did design Catwoman's dress in this issue. And he was talking about how it was interesting to see the artist's take on the dress on the cover here. But he actually opened up the book and showed me, if you go inside the book, I can show you guys right now. Because in this universe, Selina Kyle is not Catwoman. She's like a mob boss. But he wanted to have the elements of Catwoman kind of represented in the dress. So I can show you here. He opened up to this page, and he was just pointing out how he tried to have it only be like off angles on the dress. So you can see there's no like straight lines. Like even the neck is off angle and off angles there. Like it's all clawed, I think is the word he used. And then the belt is obviously the whip. But so he was kind of just giving some insight into how he designed that dress, which I thought was really cool. To hear that from the person who worked on this book, which I have loved and been so excited about. So that was really, really cool. Then the next one was issue 133. Got his signature down there in the grave. I've noticed he signed on the same spot in pretty much all of these books. I don't know if that's just his go-to spot or what, but 134 down there. And then the most recent issue, 135, Legacy 900, and the end of this arc. So really, really exciting. I've been loving this Batman run, so it's really cool to have the whole second arc signed by the artist of that arc. Definitely a awesome addition to my collection that I'm very excited about. So that's Mike Hawthorne. Really nice guy also. I just want to put that out there. When I did get to speak to him and, he talking about the dress and all that stuff, like he just seemed like a really, really cool guy. And one thing I've noticed about pretty much all of these creators and anyone I've ever met like at a convention is the like intentionality to really like they're not like, okay, next, like sign your books and get out. Like they very much take the time to like talk to you to make sure that like hey, like how's your convention going, like yada yada, like thank you. Like they're very like, you can tell that they're grateful to be there and be that people want their autograph and stuff like that. So all really humble, really nice guys that I met, and yeah, I can't say enough nice things about them. So all great guys. Definitely, if you ever have the chance to meet them at a convention, I highly recommend it. And it's definitely worthwhile. And next up, and I think, not last up, next up, and this was kind of the main creator that I was going to this convention for, and I brought the most books for him to sign. He did end up charging per signature, which I expected. He's definitely a big guy, so I brought a bunch of books in case it was like cheaper or free, and then when I had to narrow it down, I only got 6 books signed by him, but they're all books that I'm very happy with getting signed, all books that are very special to me. I mean, none of these books I'm getting CGC graded or anything like that, obviously, since I have them. And my thing with like autographed books at shows is like, I don't really care to get a book CGC graded and like CGC witnessed and all of that, unless, like, the only reason you would do that is if you were ever going to sell the book. And, like, I'm never going to sell these books. These are books that I'm having for my collection. I want to get them signed just to, like, I don't know, it's just something I enjoy for, like, these books that I'm going to keep. So some of these books are not even in the best of condition. Like, they're not the optimal choice, and I'll talk more about what I mean by that in a second with one of these books. But diving into it, this creator, I don't think I mentioned it yet, is Adam Kubert. I don't know if I'm saying that wrong. Kubert, whatever. Very, very famous Marvel artist. He's done a lot of work throughout Marvel's history, so it was hard for me to pick out just a few books to get signed, but I'm pretty happy with the books that I did select. Obviously, I had to get this one, Infinity Part 1 of 6. He did all of the covers for Infinity. He did not do the interior art, but he did all of the covers. And I brought all 6 issues of Infinity. Once I saw that he was charging for signatures, I went ahead and got just issue 1. But I love how he signed that in gold there. Really, really pops on the cover there and looks awesome. And then next up, we got Spectacular Spider-Man, issue number 1 from volume 2 or 3. I forget which volume this is. Really phenomenal Spectacular Spider-Man run that came out a few years ago. Chip Zdarsky, you know, obviously legendary writer. Also wrote the Batman books that I got signed. But yeah, I got him to sign that there. He did the art for this issue, and I think the first few issues of this run. But I brought multiple, but I only got this one, and then I also got Spectacular Spider-Man issue number 300. This was after Marvel Legacy, so they went back to the Legacy numbering during this run, and then obviously he did the art on this book. You can see his name right there, and he went ahead and signed it there in blue right over the 300, so it really pops, really looks awesome. Figured that was a good book to get signed, a nice kind of like numbering key issue. Next up, this was a very, very easy choice for me. We got The Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows number 1, signed by him right there. I brought all 5 issues of Renew Your Vows, but I only got this one signed because, again, I had to narrow it down. I really wanted to get all 5 signed, but it was $10 per signature, and I was like, I don't know if I can drop $50 on just these 5. You know, I could just get issue number 1. But interesting, the guy in front of me getting books signed by him also had Renew Your Vows, and he had it, I think, every issue. And Adam started talking to him about how a lot of these covers, he actually used his family to pose for, like, the source to draw it. So, like, this picture here, this is Adam's daughter drawn for this picture. And specifically, he said, I think it's issue number 4 of Renew Your Vows, where it's Annie kind of, like, dressed up in, like, a makeshift superhero costume standing over, like, MJ and Peter on the ground or whatever. He said that he actually asked his daughter, like, hey, if you were going to cobble together a superhero costume, like, what would you do? And she put on her swim goggles and grabbed the tablecloth and did all this stuff, and that was how he dressed her up for the cover. So just some fun behind the scenes that you get to hear from these creators when you go to these shows. But really awesome book, especially right now. Kind of hits a little bit with what's going on in the Spider-Man comics right now, seeing a happy married and father of a Spider-Man. But and then these next 2 books, these were the main reason I wanted to meet Adam Kubert, because I wanted him to sign these books. I bought these a few months back. If you've been watching my comic pickups, you'll recognize them. I got them because I didn't know they exist, and then I was just kind of browsing on eBay one day or somewhere, and I saw them, and I just loved these covers. And I bought them, and I did not realize that they were Adam until I saw the guest list for the show, and I was like, well, let me see if I have any books from these guys. And I was browsing my CLZ app, and these books came up, and as soon as I saw these books come up and I knew that he drew these covers, I was like, I need to get these signed by him. And these are Spirits of Vengeance, or rather Spirits of Venom. This was the crossover between Ghost Rider and Venom. And Adam Kubert drew these covers, and you got the signature right there. He grabbed, like, a special kind of pen for it. Like, these other ones he was using, I think, just, like, different kinds of Sharpies. But then once he flipped over to these covers, I guess, I don't know, he saw all of the different colors going on, and he pulled out, like, a different pack and pulled out these, like, a lot of the creators actually had these, like, these special markers that were, like, paint. And one downside of them is they take longer to dry, which is a little bit difficult when you're at a convention. You'll see on the next issue it became a little bit of an issue, but yeah, it's kind of like a salmon color. Like, it's not showing up great on the like the color on the camera, but looks great on the book. I just love this cover. You have Ghost Rider chaining up Venom with Spider-Man and Johnny Blaze down in the water there. That is just so cool. So to get that signed by him is awesome. And then the second Spirits of Venom issue that he did the cover for is this one, which is just such a phenomenal cover. You got Venom there in the sewer, the Ghost Rider skull on a chain. I mean, just phenomenal. What I was talking about here with the marker, so after he signed them, he warned me. He was like, hey, these are going to need a minute to dry. I was like, sure, appreciate it. And I took them and I didn't put them back in the bag or stack them or anything. I just went over to the side of the convention center where there was like a counter there, and I set them down, and me and my friend just kind of waited there for like 10 minutes, letting them dry. And then I touched them, and I was like, I think they're dry, and I stuck them back in the bags, put them in my backpack, and then continued on the show. When I got home and went to take them out of the bags, a little bit of the ink actually kind of came off on the bag. If you look closely, I don't know if I'll be able to show it on the camera here. Yeah, it's not really gonna. It's kind of adjusting. You can see there's like a line across there where the ink is gone. There's a few lines like that going across where the ink kind of came off. Not a huge deal from far away. I mean, you looking at it here, you can't see the difference. And also, it's like, it's signed by him. Like, do I care that a little bit of the ink washed out or came off? No, it's not making or breaking the book. The signature still looks great, and it really, really pops beneath that, like the orange Venom. You got the Adam Kubert signature there, so really awesome book. I'm super happy to have it, and no complaints there. And then the last creator that I had the pleasure of meeting, I did not see Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Connor were there. I did not get any books signed by them. They had a pretty long line, and they were also charging, and I didn't really have a lot of books that I cared a lot about getting signed. I've actually met them before. I have a couple Harley Quinn books signed by them. You'll see those in an upcoming video. I'm going to do a whole like signed comic book collection video. But I did not get any books signed by them, but the last creator that I did get books signed by is Sam De La Rosa. He did inking for a lot of the early Venom comic books he did, like Venom Lethal Protector #1. He inked that cover. I don't actually have a copy of Venom #1. If I did, I would have probably got that signed. But he did do inks on a book that is very, very near and dear to my heart, so I had to get it signed. And that is Spider-Man Unlimited #2, the conclusion of Maximum Carnage. You can see his signature right there. He did it in one of those special pens that's like straight up paint, very like shiny silver metallic paint, so the signature looks really good on there. The reason this book is near and dear to my heart, aside from the fact you can obviously see I got the Carnage bust there, Maximum Carnage is where it all started for me. My first comic book ever was Maximum Carnage Part 4, and my very first comic collecting goal was to get every single issue of Maximum Carnage. And I remember the day I got all the issues I needed, and I had all 14 parts. I was so excited, and that was like a really triumphant moment for me. So Maximum Carnage will always have a special place in my heart. And so to be able to get one of the Maximum Carnage issues signed by a creator who worked on it is super, super cool. So that's very special to me. And that's, like I said, these books I would never sell or anything, because it's like, this is just super special to me. Like, it's a book that is very near and dear to my heart, and to get it signed and that signature just looks phenomenal. I'm super happy about that. And then I had one other book to get signed by him, and he was also charging per signature. I think it was $10 per, but he had an additional, you could get a sketch for I think like $30 or something, and I was like, that is a good price. I mean, $40 for a original sketch, well, not, a sketch on one of your books, and I had the perfect book for it. Now, this is what I'm talking about when I say a lot of people, when they're getting a book signed, they only want to get like their key issue that's a 9.8, and like they can grade it and have like the most valuable whatever. This book was not the valuable choice. It is not in the best condition. It's got some creases and damage to it, some scratches on it, and the reason why I chose this book is because this book goes back to my very first stack of comics. Like, I owned this next comic book when I had this many comics. And I didn't keep them in bags and boards. I just had them piled up on my bookshelf. I was like 10, you know, I mean, I was very young. This was 15 years ago. So this book is very special to me. I remember buying this, or rather my mom buying it for me, when I was very, very, very young. And he did inks on this issue, and it was the perfect cover for him to do a sketch on because it is one of the 30th anniversary covers. It is Web of Spider-Man, issue number 90. Now, if you don't know about these, they did one of these in Web, they did one of these in Amazing, and I think they did one of these in Spectacular, where it's kind of just like a background framing this holographic square here. And the holographic square has, you can barely see it on the camera, but a holographic image of Spider-Man kind of in there. It was a gimmicky thing they did, and it was really cool. I remember when I was a kid, flipping through the boxes of back issues at the comic store, I found this cover, and I just thought it was really cool, and that's why I got it. But it's really perfect for a sketch because, I mean, he can just sketch right within there, and it doesn't really, you know, if you sketch on a normal cover, it's hard to see what's going on because there's the art behind it, there's the art in front of it, whereas this, it kind of just blends in perfectly. So I went ahead and got him to sketch this for me, so I did get a picture of him sketching it. I forgot to put it on my computer, so I can't quite show it to you guys now. I'll probably post it on my Instagram, so if you want to go follow me there, it's at TA Comics. I'll post a picture of him sketching on this, but signed it along the side there, Sam De La Rosa. And then he sketched Spider-Man there with the Spidey sense going off. I love how he used two colors. You know, he's got the blue and the black, and the blue kind of against the red background. I'm very, very happy with it. This is now the second Spider-Man sketch that I have in my collection. The first one being by Scott Hanna, with a fun little story behind that. I'll save that for my autographed comic books collection video coming soon. So if you want to see that, make sure you hit that subscribe button. But yeah, very happy with this book. Like I said, is it the optimal choice value-wise? I mean, I don't know how well you guys can see it, but the you know, it's not in great condition. It's a little dirty. The holographic part has some scratches on it. But just sentimentally wise, like knowing how far back, like I've owned this book for no joke at least 15 years, since I was very young, since I was first getting into comics. And so to get it sketched on years later by an artist who worked on it, like that's really special to me. And this is one of those books that I'm really going to cherish for a long time, and I'm not going to be getting rid of ever. So it's really awesome, really special, and you know, I really appreciate Sam for taking the time to sketch on it. I mean, I know I paid him, but he was a really nice guy. I was actually wearing a Venom t-shirt, and as I walked up to the table he was at, he goes, "Hey, nice shirt. I drew that." I was like, "Yeah, that's I figured you did. That's why I wore it." But such a cool guy, and really appreciate him doing this. So that's the last book that I got signed at the convention. So very, very happy with all of these books. I am so appreciative to all of these creators for going to these conventions and taking the time to meet, you know, fans. I mean, that's just a really special thing for me as a reader. I always love meeting the creators making these books that mean so much to me. So, yeah, definitely, if you've never been to a convention, I can't recommend it enough. It is just such an amazing environment of people feeling comfortable and safe to be as nerdy as they want to be. I mean, we walked into the convention center and there was like a music DJ dance area like in the entrance, and we just walked in and there were a bunch of people dressed up as superheroes dancing around like nobody was watching. And, you know, I'm sure some people would see that and would want to make fun of them and be like, oh, look at those nerds, you know, whatever. But I saw that and it made me so happy to see that they just felt so safe and comfortable to just be nerds, and everyone there is just dressed up and unashamedly themselves. And I think it's a really awesome, like, safe space for everyone to just enjoy what they love. And so I highly recommend it. Any convention, if you see one near you, I highly recommend it. Whether there's creators you can meet, or just to go for the experience, or to go and find some really cool stuff to buy. I had a great time. So that's going to do it for this video. Thank you. It actually turned out being a decently long video, so how about that? If you did enjoy, hit that like button. Comment your thoughts down below, and like I said, I will have another video coming out soon-ish. It's going to be a autographed comic book collection video, so I'm going to show you guys all of the books in my collection that I have signed. by creators, including the ones I showed you today, but also a lot of others that I've had over the years. So stay tuned for that, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace out.